The club was supposed to be calm that night, just another filming session for Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, another round of drama turned entertainment. But what started as a tense conversation spiraled into chaos faster than anyone could stop it. Spice had come to confront Jasmine, still furious about the rumors surrounding her and Kirk Frost, determined to clear the air and finally get some truth. Cameras were rolling, producers were whispering directions, and the crowd could feel the tension brewing. No one expected what happened next. As Spice entered the VIP section, her energy shifted the room. Dressed in a glittering blue outfit, her expression was ice cold, her jaw tight. Jasmine sat nearby, sipping her drink nervously, clearly aware that the confrontation was inevitable. Kirk was there too, leaning against a corner, pretending to stay out of it, but watching every move. Spice wasted no time. "You've been running your mouth about me, right?" she snapped, stepping closer. Jasmine blinked, trying to stay composed. "I didn't say nothing that ain't true," she fired back. The air went electric. Kirk tried to step between them, hands raised. "Yo, calm down, this ain't the time." But Spice wasn't backing off. "Nah, this is the time. You got her out here spreading lies, and you think I'm just gonna sit quiet?" Jasmine rolled her eyes, muttering, "You always need attention." That was it. Spice lunged forward, her voice rising. The producers rushed in, trying to separate them, but Kirk moved faster. He grabbed Spice's arm, too rough, too sudden, and in that flash of chaos, his hand connected with her face. The room froze. The music cut. The crowd gasped. Spice stumbled back, eyes wide in shock. For a heartbeat, nobody moved. Then everything exploded, screams, shouts, people pushing toward the scene. Spice's security rushed in, pulling her away as Kirk's team dragged him backward. Jasmine stood frozen, her hand over her mouth, realizing the gravity of what just happened. Cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of the moment that would send shockwaves through the love and hip-hop world. Social media lit up within minutes as word spread. Kirk Frost hit Spice during confrontation with Jasmine. What was meant to be a storyline had turned into a scandal that would shake the show to its core. The music cut. The crowd gasped. Spice stumbled back, eyes wide in shock. For a heartbeat, nobody moved. Then everything exploded, screams, shouts, people pushing toward the scene. Spice's security rushed in, pulling her away as Kirk's team dragged him backward. Jasmine stood frozen, her hand over her mouth, realizing the gravity of what just happened. Cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of the moment that would send shockwaves through the love and hip-hop world. Social media lit up within minutes as word spread. Kirk Frost hit Spice during confrontation with Jasmine. What was meant to be a storyline had turned into a scandal that would shake the show to its core. She had heard enough whispers from mutual friends and seen enough shady behavior to want answers. But what really set her off was the talk that Jasmine had been spreading stories about her behind the scenes, calling her fake, saying she was trying too hard to stay relevant, and hinting that she knew things about Kirk that would shock everyone. For Spice, that was the final straw. When she walked into the club that night, the energy shifted instantly. Dressed in a form-fitting blue outfit that shimmered under the lights, her presence demanded attention. Her expression, though, said everything. This wasn't for show. She was angry, and she was done playing polite. Jasmine was already seated at the VIP table, surrounded by a few castmates who looked uneasy, sensing what was about to go down. Kirk stood a few feet away, arms crossed, pretending to be calm but clearly nervous. The producers whispered quietly to the crew, signaling them to keep camera steady. Spice didn't waste time. She walked straight up to Jasmine, her heels clicking against the floor like warning shots. "We gonna talk like women, yeah," she said, her Jamaican accent cutting through the music. Jasmine looked up, her smirk faltering slightly. "What's there to talk about?" she asked, her voice deceptively calm. "You been running your mouth," Spice shot back. "You out here spreading lies about me and still talking about Kirk like you ain't done enough damage already. You need to keep my name out your mouth." Jasmine set her drink down, her eyes narrowing. "I'm not spreading lies, Spice. I just said what everybody already knows. You act like you're better than everybody, but you're messy too. Maybe worry less about me and more about what Kirk's been doing." The crowd around them gasped. Kirk stiffened, his jaw clenching. "Yo, Jasmine, chill with that," he muttered. But Spice wasn't backing down. "What's she talking about, Kirk?" she demanded, turning to face him. "You got something you need to say? 'Cause if this girl knows something I don't, now's the time to clear it up." The air in the club turned electric. People stopped dancing, stopped talking, every camera was locked in. Kirk rubbed his forehead, trying to de-escalate. "Man, y'all trippin'. Ain't nothing going on. I told you, we just co-parenting." But Spice wasn't convinced. "Then why's she saying you've been meeting up with her behind Rashida's back? Why's she still acting like she part of your life?" Kirk's voice rose. "Because she keeps showing up. I ain't doing nothing." The tension snapped like a rubber band. Jasmine stood, her tone turning sharp. "Don't lie, Kirk. You was at my apartment last month." The crowd gasped again, the entire room erupting in whispers. Kirk's face went red, his voice stumbling. "Man, don't do that here," he warned, his composure slipping. Spice looked from one to the other, her eyes blazing. "So it's true," she shouted. "You really out here disrespecting your wife again?" Before anyone could intervene, Spice stepped closer to Jasmine, her finger pointed directly at her face. "You're pathetic, you know that? You've been chasing this man for years. He don't even want you." Jasmine pushed her hand away. "Don't touch me," she snapped. Spice's voice rose again, furious now. "You a liar and a homewrecker," and before she could finish, Kirk stepped in between them, his hand raised to separate them. "Yo, chill. Chill," he shouted, his voice booming over the chaos. Spice kept yelling, trying to reach past him, her frustration boiling over. "You defending her now? That's what we doing," she yelled, trying to move around him. "I said stop." Kirk barked, grabbing her arm. The movement was too rough, too sudden. In one fast motion, Spice jerked away, and his hand swung out, connecting with her face. The sound silenced the entire room. It wasn't loud, but it was enough. Enough to freeze the cameras, enough to make Jasmine's eyes go wide in shock. Spice stumbled back, clutching her cheek, disbelief washing over her face. For a second, no one breathed. Then chaos erupted, screaming, shouting, people rushing forward. Rashida, who had been watching from across the room, pushed through the crowd, yelling, "What the hell is wrong with you, Kirk?" Security rushed in, grabbing Kirk and pulling him back as he shouted, "I ain't mean to. It wasn't like that." Spice was crying now, furious and humiliated, being led toward the exit by her team. "Don't touch me," she yelled, pushing away one of the producers trying to comfort her. "He put his hands on me. On camera." Within minutes, phones were out, and social media was already buzzing. Kirk Frost hit Spice at Hattle filming, began trending before the crew even wrapped the scene. By the time Spice was in her car, trembling and silent, clips were already leaking online. Fans couldn't believe it, some in shock, others calling for Kirk's removal from the show. What was supposed to be another dramatic storyline had turned into something real, something violent, something that would change the dynamic of love and hip-hop forever. The following morning, chaos hit social media like a hurricane. Clips of the altercation between Kirk Frost and Spice were everywhere, blurry footage captured by background extras, behind-the-scenes leaks, and snippets uploaded by people who had been in the club that night. The internet didn't hesitate to react. "Kirk Frost just slapped Spice on camera," one post read, already shared over 10,000 times. "Mona Scott gonna have a field day with this one," another joked, but most comments weren't laughing. The hashtag Protect Spice trended all day, and calls for Kirk's removal from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta filled every comment section. Meanwhile, Spice was silent. Her team released a short statement. "Spice is recovering from an incident that occurred during filming. She appreciates everyone's concern and will speak when she's ready." The public wanted more, but those closest to her said she was still shaken. She hadn't expected that kind of violence, especially not from Kirk. "She's tough," one insider explained. "She's used to drama." But this time, you could see it on her face, she was really hurt. Across town, Kirk stayed behind closed doors. He didn't post, didn't call, didn't show his face. Even Rashida was silent, though rumors swirled that she'd left their house temporarily. "She's embarrassed and furious," a producer told a gossip blog. She told the network she won't film with him until he apologizes publicly. The producers themselves were in full crisis mode. They'd dealt with on-screen fights before, but this was different. Someone had been struck on camera, by a man. "We can't spin this," one crew member. By afternoon, TMZ picked up the story. Their headline read, "Love and Hip-Hop Chaos, Kirk Frost Caught Hitting Spice During Filming, VH1 Considering Suspension." Within hours, the network released a statement confirming they were reviewing the footage and taking appropriate action. They also announced that filming was paused indefinitely. Fans celebrated the decision, praising Spice for speaking out even though she hadn't publicly said anything yet. But behind the scenes, she was struggling. In a quiet hotel suite provided by the network, Spice sat surrounded by her closest friends. Her cheek was swollen, not badly, but enough to remind her of what happened. She replayed the moment over and over in her head. The shock. The silence. The way everyone looked at her afterward. "It's the disrespect that hurts most," she said softly. "He didn't even say sorry. Not once." One of her friends held her hand. "You gotta speak your truth, Spice. Don't let them control the story." That night, she opened Instagram and stared at the blank post box for nearly an hour before typing, "I've been through worse, but I never thought I'd be hit by someone I called a friend. I'm not okay, but I will be. No one deserves that." She didn't tag Kirk. She didn't need to. The message said it all. Within minutes, the post exploded with support from fans, celebrities, and fellow cast members. Cardi B commented, "Stand strong, sis. Don't let nobody dim your light." Young Miami wrote, "Sending love, Queen." Meanwhile, Kirk finally broke his silence, but instead of apologizing, he went live. Sitting in his car, eyes red, voice tense, he said, "Y'all blowing this out of proportion. I didn't hit her on purpose. I was trying to break up a fight, and things got out of control. I would never hurt a woman intentionally." The chat filled instantly with anger. "That's not what the video shows," one commenter said. "Take accountability," another wrote. The live ended abruptly after only 5 minutes, but the damage was done. His explanation sounded more like denial than remorse. Rashida, finally cornered by paparazzi outside a boutique, gave her own short statement, "I don't condone violence of any kind. I'm still processing everything that happened." She refused to say more, but her tone was icy, her expression unreadable. Insiders claimed she was livid, not just about the incident but about what it meant for their brand. She told him he messed up everything, one source revealed. Their image, their deals, everything they'd been rebuilding, it's all tainted now. As for Jasmine, she disappeared completely. The confrontation had spiraled beyond anything she imagined. People flooded her page with hate comments, accusing her of starting the fight and putting everyone in danger. She didn't expect it to go that far, another cast member told a gossip channel. She was scared. She thought it was just going to be a verbal argument, not. Producers debated whether to scrap the footage altogether or air it in a later episode. One insider claimed Mona Scott-Young herself had the final say. "It's disturbing," she reportedly told the editing team. "But it's also real. This is what happens when emotions and pride get mixed in." They decided to air it, with heavy editing and a content warning. When the episode finally premiered 2 weeks later, millions tuned in. The scene was shorter, muted, and blurred at the moment of impact, but the reaction was still explosive. Viewers watched in disbelief, many turning to Twitter mid-episode to vent. "I can't believe he actually did that," one post read. "This isn't entertainment anymore, it's assault." Ratings soared, but so did outrage. Spice watched from her hotel room, tears running silently down her face. "I didn't want them to show it," she said later in an interview. "I didn't want to relive that moment. But maybe it had to be seen." The fallout was immediate. Sponsors began pulling deals from Kirk and Rashida's joint ventures. The network issued a stricter code of conduct for the cast. And Spice, despite her trauma, became the face of resilience in the aftermath. "I'm not a victim," she said in a follow-up post. "I'm a survivor." But something gotta change. Behind the scenes, Kirk tried to reach out privately. Texts, calls, messages through mutual friends, Spice ignored them all. "He had his chance to apologize when it mattered," she told her team. "Now, I don't want his words. I want respect." And as the story continued to dominate headlines, it was clear, this wasn't just another love and hip-hop scandal, it was a turning point that would change how the world viewed the show, and the people behind it, forever. The fallout from Kirk Frost's shocking outburst didn't end when the camera stopped rolling, it only deepened in the weeks that followed. What happened that night in the club had gone from a scandal to a full-blown cultural conversation. For years, love and hip-hop had thrived on drama, but this time, it wasn't entertainment, it was a turning point. Viewers, producers, and even cast members were forced to confront what had really happened, and for Kirk, the consequences were only beginning. VH1 officially suspended him pending investigation, and public opinion was brutal. Brands began distancing themselves from his name, deals were quietly cancelled, and sponsorships that once depended on the Rashida and Kirk brand evaporated overnight. The footage had been replayed and dissected from every angle, there was no denying it. Kirk had crossed a line. The only thing left was accountability, and so far, none had come. Meanwhile, Spice refused to be silenced. After weeks of healing, she agreed to sit down for a televised interview, not as a cast member, but as a woman telling her truth. The set was quiet, her demeanor calm but strong. "I didn't expect it," she began. Embarrassment, but this time, she was done defending him. On her Instagram Live, she spoke candidly for the first time. "I've been quiet because I needed to process. But let me be clear, I don't condone what happened. Period. As a woman, as a mother, and as someone who's been in this game too long, I'm disgusted." Her voice cracked as she spoke, and though she didn't confirm whether she had left Kirk for good, the sadness in her tone said everything. Behind the scenes, Kirk was unraveling. Friends said he was isolated and ashamed. He tried to reach out to Spice multiple times, but she ignored him. He sent flowers, messages, everything, one insider revealed. But she didn't respond. "She's done." Eventually, he recorded a private apology video, which leaked online days later. Sitting in a dimly lit room, Kirk looked exhausted. "I messed up," he said quietly. "I let anger get the best of me, and I hurt someone who didn't deserve it. I'll regret that forever." The apology didn't fix anything, but for the first time, it sounded real. The network announced that Kirk would be suspended for the rest of the season and required to attend mandatory counseling before returning. Some fans were satisfied with the decision, others wanted him gone for good. Spice, however, took the high road. "He needs to learn, not just lose," she said during another interview. "We all got demons, but you don't get to take them out on people." Her strength turned her from reality star to role model almost overnight. Months later, the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reunion aired, and the atmosphere was tense from the moment the cast took their seats. Spice sat on one end of the couch, regal and composed. Kirk sat across from her, visibly uncomfortable. When host Nina Parker addressed the incident, the room fell silent. Kirk finally spoke. "I can't take back what happened," he said, looking at Spice. "All I can say is I'm sorry. I was wrong." Spice nodded slightly, her voice steady. "I accept your apology, but that doesn't mean I forget. I hope you understand that what you did, people watched that. Men watched that. Women watched that. You can't undo that, but you can do better moving forward." The audience erupted in applause. Even some cast members were visibly emotional. For the first time since the incident, the two shared a brief handshake. It wasn't forgiveness, it was closure. After the reunion aired, Spice's career skyrocketed. She launched a foundation focused on supporting women in the entertainment industry, advocating for mental health, fair contracts, and safety during production. Reality TV might be scripted, she said at her launch event, but the pain we feel is real. No camera should ever make that normal. As for Kirk and Rashida, their marriage entered a quiet phase. They took time apart, focusing on personal growth rather than public appearances. In an unexpected twist, Rashida later shared that the incident had forced her to reevaluate everything. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to see the truth, she said. You can rebuild from anything, but only if you admit where you went wrong. By the end of the year, the narrative had changed. What began as violence ended as transformation. Spice emerged stronger than ever, Kirk faced accountability, and Rashida found the courage to prioritize herself. The show's producers even implemented new rules about safety, limiting physical contact and adding trauma counselors on set. In the end, the incident that once broke the internet became a lesson about boundaries, respect, and resilience. Spice stood as proof that dignity is power, that even when someone tries to silence you, standing tall and speaking truth will always hit harder than any slap ever could. If Spice's story taught the world anything, it's that silence is never strength when your dignity is on the line. She turned pain into purpose, humiliation into empowerment, and made the world confront what accountability truly means. In a space built on drama, she stood up and demanded respect, and in doing so, she became the example of what resilience really looks like. She didn't let one violent moment define her, she used it to remind everyone watching that no woman deserves to be disrespected, not for fame, not for ratings, not for love. Now it's your turn to take that message and carry it with you. Don't let anyone take your voice or your peace. Stand firm in your truth, even when the world tries to twist your story. Real strength isn't about staying quiet, it's about standing tall when others expect you to fall. If this story moved you, share it. Let the message spread, no spotlight, no paycheck, and no excuse justifies abuse. Subscribe, stay tuned, and never forget, respect isn't requested, it's required.